Hello friends, and welcome to Miss Debbie's Storybook STEM class, where we always find a little bit of science in every book we read. Today is going to be a really fun STEM lesson because we are going to be talking about spring. Who doesn't love spring? Spring is so much fun because the weather gets a little bit warmer. It's not really hot like the summer. It gets a little bit warmer. We start to hear birds chirping outside and seeing flowers blooming, and the trees are getting green, full of green leaves. And you can hear lots of children playing outside, riding their bikes, flying kites. Spring is so much fun. But we're going to be reading a book today about when spring comes. And when we are done, we are going to build a flower made out of Play-Doh. So we're going to think like scientists, and we're going to design something like an engineer, and we are going to see if we can build a flower out of Play-Doh. Are you ready for the challenge? Sounds good. Well, before we get started, we're going to be reading our book called When Spring Comes. And this is a really beautiful book. It's by Kevin Hanks and illustrated by Laura Dronzek. When Spring Comes. When Spring Comes by Kevin Hanks and illustrated by Laura Dronzek. Miss Debbie loves the pictures in this book. So colorful. Okay. Before spring comes, the trees look like black sticks against the sky. Look at this. That's not spring. Does anybody know what that is? What season is that? That's right. That's winter. That's Miss Debbie's favorite season. I just think it looks so pretty with the blue sky and the white snow and the bare trees. And look, we have our little robin friends. Those are our birds that like the winter. But if you wait, spring will bring leaves and blossoms. So pretty. And some bunny rabbits too. If you wait, spring will make the leftover mounds of snow smaller. That looks like a leftover snowman. And smaller and smaller until suddenly they're gone. What happened to that snowman? Did he melt? That's right, he melted because the weather's getting warmer. Before spring comes, the grass is brown. But if you wait, spring will turn it green and add little pretty flowers. If you wait, an egg will become a bird. Look at that. And a seed will start growing. It grew into a flower. Spring comes with sun, and it comes with rain, and more rain, and more rain. Look at the baby birds, they're chirping. They're chirping to their mom saying, "We want something to eat." Do you like mud? Do you like puddles? I hope you like umbrellas. Umbrellas are fun. Looks like they're splashing in the puddles. Who doesn't like splashing in the puddles? Before spring comes, the garden is just dirt and empty. But if you wait, spring will push some green shoots through the dirt to fill up the garden. Oh, who's in the garden eating those green shoots? That bunny rabbit. They love the greens. And spring will call out the pussy willows and new kittens too. So pretty. spring can come quickly or slowly. Look at those pretty daffodils. It changes its mind a lot. It sure does. We could get more snow any day now. I don't want it, but you just never know. This time of year when spring has come. But when spring is finally here to stay, you will know it. There will be buds, flower buds, and bees, and boots, and bubbles. Bubbles are so much fun. All those words started with the same sound. B. They start with the letter B. Buds and bees and boots and bubbles. Look at the puppy dog. He's trying to jump up and pop those bubbles. And the little kitty cat's hiding behind the boot, and they're playing in the boot. Looks like they're having a lot of fun. There will be worms. See the worms sticking their head out of the garden there? And wings. Who has wings? The butterflies. That's right. And the bees. And the birds. And there'll be wind and wheels. There's wheels on the wagon. Do you see wheels on the bikes? Wait a minute. Worms, wings, wind, and wheels. They all start with the same sound too. They start with the sound W that comes from the letter W. That's right. You will feel it. You'll feel spring, maybe the wind or the flowers. You'll smell it. What will you smell in the spring? Right? You can smell the flowers. You can smell the fresh air. And you will hear it. What can we hear? Maybe we can hear the birds chirping, the dogs barking. What else? The cat meowing. That's right. There's so many signs of spring. When spring is finally here to stay, you might think you are done waiting. Spring is here. We're not waiting anymore. But guess what? You are not done waiting because now you have to wait for summer. And summer's so much fun too. What do we have here in the summer? Popsicles. I love popsicles. Fireworks, beach ball, buckets, sailboats, flip-flops. Flip-flops are so much fun to wear. We have sunflowers and watermelon. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's some corn on the cob. Miss Debbie loves corn on the cob. Do you love corn on the cob? It's so yummy. Well, that was a fun book learning about what happens when spring comes. Are you ready to build a flower? Let's go. Okay, friends, welcome back. Now it's time for our STEM activities. The first thing that we are going to do in our scientific method is to ask what the problem is. Well, we don't really have a problem, but what Miss Debbie wants you to do is challenge yourself to come up with an idea of a way that we can make a flower out of Play-Doh that not only lies flat, but that can stand up without falling over. So before we do that, what we're going to do is we're going to design what we'd like our flower to look like. So grab any piece of paper. It can be notebook paper or printer paper, construction paper, anything that you have. And what you're going to do is take some crayons or markers using the colors of Play-Doh that you have. If you don't have colorful Play-Doh, that's fine. You can just use your colors that you have for crayons. And you are going to design the parts of a flower on your paper before you actually make it out of Play-Doh. So the parts of the flower are the flower itself, And the flower is made of petals, all these petals here, and seeds in the middle. Then we are going to need a stem. That's usually green, and then some leaves on the stem. We can make roots if we'd like to. You can design some roots on the bottom, but we don't have to do that. We want to be able to make sure that this is going to stand up. So for now, we're just going to focus on the flower part, which Miss Debbie has right here. These are the petals. And inside the middle, there's little itty bitty seeds in the middle there. And there are some right here too, little itty bitty seeds in the middle. And here are our leaves and our stem. So Miss Debbie is going to draw a picture of what I would like my flower to look like. And this is your turn to draw a picture of what you'd like your flower to look like. So for my flower part, I am going to need some petals. So I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'd like to have 5 petals. That's what I'm going to shoot for. And I am going to make some seeds in the middle. Gonna make a little circle in the middle. And that's where my seeds are. Now I'm going to draw a stem. I'd like my stem to be green. And I think I'm going to make 2 leaves. 1, 2. And I'm going to color this in green. And I might fill in some color here with my pink. Okay, so that's my design. And that's what engineers do. Before they build something, they design it ahead of time, and then they can use their design to follow when they are constructing something. So now that I have my design, I'm going to put this out of the way here, and I am going to bring over my supplies. For today's lesson, we are going to need some popsicle sticks and some Play-Doh. It's as simple as that. If you don't have Play-Doh at home and you want to do this activity later, Miss Debbie found all 4 of these Play-Doh containers, here's the other one, at the dollar store for $1. And I also got the popsicle sticks at the dollar store for $1. There's a lot in there. I think I had 60. There's 60 of them. But for today's activity, I'm just going to grab 10 maximum. So my design is for a flower that will stand. That's our challenge. So even though I drew my flower flat, this is what I want my flower to look like. So the next thing I am going to do is figure out how to solve my problem. And I'm going to solve my problem by drawing it and using some popsicle sticks and some Play-Doh. That's how I'm going to solve it. Then I'm going to design it, which I've already done. Now what we're going to do is test our design and see if our idea or our design works. So I'm going to think of some ways to get my flower to stand up. And I think I'd like to use one of these as my stem. So if I put it right here, and oh boy, that's a problem. So now I have to figure out another way to solve this because my stick is not going to stand up on its own like that. Okay, so I need green because I designed my stem with a green color. So I need green. So I'm going to take some green. How can I get this to stand up? Well, this Play-Doh is very sticky. So maybe if and you don't have to do it this way. We all have our own ideas and our own way of designing things. So you don't have to do it the way Miss Debbie is doing it. But I'm thinking that if I stick my stick in like that way it stands up. So I've solved that problem. My stick wouldn't stand up. So now I've come up with an idea to get it to stand up. And I want my stem to be green. So I think that what I might do is wrap my stick in green. What do you think? Yeah, and then I'll take a little bit more and wrap it around here. And then I need some leaves. I think I might try to mold what I have here into some leaves. And you can use a tray so you don't get Play-Doh everywhere. And then you can use your popsicle sticks to kind of help you design your petals. I see what my petals look like here, and I didn't color them in, so it might be hard for you to see them. There we go. There are my petals. And I kind of have them in the same shape here as what I have there. And I know that real petals have these little lines in them because they're veins in the leaves, and that's what drinks up the water. So I am going to use my popsicle stick and make a line and then make some veins in my leaves just like that. And I'm going to try to stick it on there so it will stay. So it's staying. So far so good. The only problem I had was trying to get the popsicle stick to stand up, and that worked. So you're going to find that you might have a lot of problems along the way, but that's what happens with scientists. Everything that we do is an experiment. So things are not going to work, and you're not going to get upset by them, because that's how we learn as scientists. We learn from our mistakes, and we think of different ways to solve problems. Okay, so I have my stem, I have my leaves. Now I have to work on my flower, and I need some petals, and I need a center. That is my seeds. So my petals are pink, and I do have pink here. But if you look at the flower, I don't have anything to stick my flower onto. So let me see. I'm going to have to make some petals. And some petals, I'm going to roll this in between my hands. And I'm going to squish it down a little bit. And I'm going to make my petals first. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 petals I made for my flower. It's 2. That's 3. Play-Doh is so much fun to work with because it's so squishy. And you don't really make many mistakes working with Play-Doh in your designs because it's easy to mold into what you want it to look like. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 1 more. And I have just enough. Okay, so I have my 5 petals. Then I'm going to need my center, which I made green. So I'm going to make that into a circle. And that's where my seeds are. Just like that. So how am I going to get this top onto my flower and get it to stay? Put it like this. That might work. Might stick for a little bit. Oh, but it looks like it's going to fall off very soon. So I don't think that's going to work. It's a little too heavy. Maybe I could stick it on top of my popsicle stick like this. That seems to stay. Let's see. I'm going to start putting my petals around the edge. Oh, well, that's not going to work because it's a little, seems like it's a little too heavy. So how can I solve that problem? Let's see. Maybe because they're too heavy, I could take off some Play-Doh. Okay, well that's not going to work because it made it a little bit too heavy on the top and it's going to fall over. So now I have to think of another plan. So I think what maybe I could do is use another popsicle stick. Maybe I'll squish that right on the back here. What do you think? That just might work. And then maybe I'll put another popsicle stick like this. Maybe I'll pull it down a little bit more. And then I can stick my leaves on the sticks here. And maybe put a little more Play-Doh on the back to hold the popsicle stick in place. This is definitely a challenge. I got one leaf on there. Two. Ooh, so far so good. I'm gonna cut these in half. Three. I squish them all together as I'm going along. Whoopsie. Four. And maybe, I find that you gotta keep squeezing it to get it to balance. So I found a way of improving it, and that's our last step of the scientific method, to improve our plan. And my plan originally was to put the Play-Doh ball on top of the popsicle stick and then attach all of the petals to it, but it didn't work very well. It wouldn't stay up and it wasn't strong enough. So I put two popsicle sticks behind and squished the Play-Doh around it, and that was my way of improving my original idea. There's my 5 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have seeds in the middle. I have a stem and it's standing. So I've completed my challenge. So now I want you to take on the challenge and see if you can get your Play-Doh flower to stand up and look a little bit like the design that you made on your paper. Whoops. And remember, it's okay if it doesn't work because that's the scientific method. You are going to improve as you go along. Now, Miss Debbie has included some printables. I included a song for you to sing about a flower. I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't hit it. Balance it on that. And I have also, I'm going to lay this down for now. I have also included some counting papers about things that we see in the spring. You're going to count how many pictures are here. These are seeds. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're going to look for the number that matches, and you're either going to cross it out or circle it. We have some bird houses that you can count, some suns, some birds. So that's a fun math activity that you can do. And then I have also included the parts of a flower, some flower fun, and you're going to look at the numbers and ask an adult to help you read what the color is. So you're going to look at your flower and all of the number 1s you're going to color red. All the number 2 is purple, 3 green, 4 orange, 5 black, 6 yellow. I have 2 here, so if you want to share it with someone or you can do it twice, that's fine. So that's a little color by number fun. Well, I hope you had fun, and I'll see you in just a moment to say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining me today, learning about spring and making a beautiful flower out of Play-Doh. Miss Debbie had so much fun with you, and I can't wait to see you again next week, my friends. Stay happy and healthy. Bye.